listening to Make It, a podcast by Bonsai Creative that helps creatives in film get where they're going faster by sharing the advice, knowledge, and insights of professional creatives across the film industry. In this episode, you'll hear an industry insight, curated content designed to spotlight the best advice, wisdom, and tools from our previous interview guests. Brought to you and narrated by Nicholas Bugs.
It's really hard to make art to begin with. It's even harder if you can't pay your bills doing it. Robert Broadhurst, writer, director. As true advocates of branding and marketing indie film, this quote from Make It podcast guest Robert Broadhurst really hit home. Creativity and art are at the core of filmmaking, where branding and marketing are at the core of business. In other words, if you want to make it in film, make art. If you want to make it in the film business, brand and market your art. When we started our interviews in the pre-podcast days of walking around with a handheld sound recorder at film festivals, we would often ask filmmakers what it meant to them to make it in the film industry. Most of them responded with something along the lines of, to make a living from my art. If this is true for most filmmakers, then why is making money the last thing on so many filmmakers' minds when setting out to make a film? At this point, I can't even count the number of pitch decks we've read over the years, but we could probably count on one hand the number of pitch decks that actually included a marketing plan. If the ultimate goal is to make money doing what you love, then why don't you have a plan to make money? I've begun to wonder if this is simply a case of you don't know what you don't know. Film production templates like call sheets, film budgets, and production schedules are often passed down and passed across from person to person. Since we've never seen a proposed indie film budget that contains line items for branding, marketing, digital asset management, social media ad buys, website development, or even social media management, maybe it's because filmmakers are still using old and outdated templates. If it's not in the template, you don't know what's missing. But I don't think that's a valid excuse anymore. Indie films aren't being picked up in droves and sold for millions to the likes of Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon Prime Video. It's not a model that exists. Waiting to be discovered in a world where content is dripping from every screen imaginable isn't a business plan. It's a pipe dream. As an indie filmmaker, you have to start taking control of your own fate by building a business around yourself and your art. If you don't, the best you can expect is to be picked up by a distributor who licenses your project for 10 to 15 years and offers you what's left of the profits after they've collected their fees. In this case, you become the fuel to their getaway car, their really nice getaway car. As Robert said, it's really hard to make art to begin with. It's even harder if you can't pay your bills doing it. Don't make filmmaking harder than it needs to be. If you spend as much time thinking about how you're going to turn a profit as you do about how you're going to get that pinnacle scene just right, you may just find yourself in the black before shooting even starts. And if the business of film isn't your forte, team up with someone who can bridge that gap. It's the only way to truly, make it. A big thank you goes out to Robert Broadhurst for a wonderful conversation full of thoughtful insights and reflections on so many aspects of filmmaking. There are so many quotes that stuck out in our minds, and we look forward to unpacking all the goodness he dropped on this episode of the Make It podcast. If you'd like to learn more about his work, check him out at robertdirects.com. As always, be better, be creative, be engaged.
You've been listening to the Make It podcast. To find out more information about this week's topics, including links to relevant blog posts, projects, and indie creatives, please visit our website at www.bonsai.film. If you haven't already, you can join our podcast community on Apple Podcasts or the podcast app of your choice by searching for Make It Bonsai Creative, and the show will pop right up. You now have the opportunity to support the production of this podcast. If you love Make It and are a true fan of what we're trying to accomplish in the indie film community, please visit www.bonsai.film and click Contribute. Contributions start at only $5 monthly. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at _Bonsai Creative and on Facebook by searching for Bonsai Creative. You can provide feedback to us via email at contact@bonsai.film, and you can follow me, Chris, on Twitter at Flaming Your Heart. That's FLAMEINURHEART. And of course, if you're looking to take a big step towards your filmmaking success, go to www.bonsai.film and click on Services to explore a variety of offerings from keynotes and panels to pitch readiness assessments and so much more. You have everything to gain. Until next time, be better, be creative, be engaged, and thank you for listening.